Good evening, everyone, and a wonderful welcome to you all for taking time out of your busy day to take part in today's powerful PowerPoint presentation on vocabulary. Today's literacy presentation is presented by Melissa Borges, Yvonne Cervantes, Laura Hunt, and Gayun Park. We are Universal Literacy Reading Coaches. We work for Universal Literacy Initiative, which is a part of the Division of Early Childhood Education in the New York City Department of Education. Hello. In today's session, we will start by sharing a fun warm-up activity that you can play with your child at home. We will then provide a brief introduction sharing what we hope you take away from this presentation. Following this, we will use an analogy to help you understand exactly what vocabulary is and why it is so important in early literacy. After that, we will discuss how children and families can use the world around us to find words to use to acquire vocabulary. Most importantly, all of us coaches will share a tried and true activity that supports vocabulary development in young learners. These activities include a game called Synonym Spider, the Vocabulary Cube game, vocabulary headbands, known as the forehead game, and last but not least, how to support your child in creating a vocabulary journal. We will end our presentation with a list of references and resources, including websites that contain more activities and books that support vocabulary acquisition. At the conclusion of our presentation, we have provided a QR code to a feedback survey that we kindly request that you complete. Included will be our contact information in case you would like to reach out for further guidance.
So when we were thinking about how to start this video, my colleagues and I decided we wanted to use alliteration and that we would choose 3 adjectives to describe ourselves that start with the same first sound as our first name or last name. Alliteration is when you use the same beginning sound in a string of words. Using alliteration is a fun way to play with language. And playing with language helps children learn about sounds and words even before they can read the words themselves. That's why popular cartoon characters and chain stores will often use alliteration in their names. On this slide, you can see examples of that, such as Mickey Mouse, Chuck E. Cheese, Peppa Pig, Wonder Woman, and Krispy Kreme. We hope that you enjoy this video of our introduction and that it might inspire you to try this with your names at home. We hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm lighthearted, loyal, laudable, Laura, and I support CS 150 in District 12 in the Bronx.
Hello, I'm passionate, personable, patient, Park, and I support Bronx Little School in District 12.
Hi, I am easygoing, emotional, eager, Yvonne, and I support PS 195 in District 12.
Hi, I am magnificent, marvelous, mellow, Melissa, and I support PS 178 and PS 189 in District 11 in the Bronx.
First, let's talk about what we know from research. Studies have shown that as a child's vocabulary grows, so does his or her reading comprehension. At the same time, the more a child reads, the more his or her vocabulary builds. In other words, a large bank of words in a child's brain or memory is fundamental. So how does vocabulary knowledge connect to literacy development? Remember that our ultimate goal of reading is comprehension. Having a large vocabulary or word knowledge will facilitate or ease a child's comprehension of anything she reads. What are we hoping families get out of today's workshop? We hope you will understand the connection between vocabulary development and early reading acquisition. And we also hope to deepen knowledge of effective practices for learning words. As a result, our families will understand the importance of vocabulary acquisition. Families will learn activities to implement at home to enhance vocabulary development. And our students will benefit from increased opportunities to develop vocabulary knowledge.
Hi, it's Melissa Borges again. What is vocabulary anyway? The best image I've seen to help us understand vocabulary comes from a framework New York City developed about early literacy. It uses the idea of a bank like this cute little piggy you see here. From the time they are born, children constantly add to their own personal bank of words. Just like with money, we want to make as many word deposits to our banks as possible. When we store word information, that includes how to pronounce a word, what the word means, as well as how to spell the word. Research tells us that students with a larger bank of words will have more general knowledge, both of which help students to comprehend better. That, of course, is the ultimate goal of reading. When we read, it's in order to understand, to make meaning out of printed language. This presentation is all about finding ways to help your child deposit more and more words into their word banks. Have fun with it and know that you are empowering your child with every new word.
So you may ask, why is vocabulary important? Knowledge of vocabulary is critical for comprehension of and expression of thoughts and ideas. There is a strong connection between vocabulary and reading and writing or learning in school. Children who know many words can better communicate in writing about different topics. Another reason, knowing the meaning of a word helps children hold on to how the word is spelled in memory. This means that when a child knows a word well, he or she can access it quickly when reading or writing something. Furthermore, readers need to know 98% of words in a text to comprehend. Now, that's a lot of words to learn and to know. Also, children with greater word knowledge tend to have better social skills. As you can see, knowing words has benefits that go beyond reading and writing.
Hi, it's Melissa Borges again. I'm back to talk to you about where you can find vocabulary words to use with your child. Your child's teacher may assign words, and that's a good start, but not necessary because opportunities to increase your child's vocabulary are all around you. When we think about language, we can separate it into two categories, printed text and oral language. There are lots of ways print is used in our environment, and each gives us many words to discuss with our children. Certainly, books are an obvious place to look. Books your child can read independently, as well as books with more complex language that you can enjoy together during a read aloud. Some of my favorite memories are of snuggling with my children when they were younger as I read to them. But books aren't the only game in town. Magazines, newspapers, labels on products, advertisements, and even signs around the neighborhood provide opportunities for us to make talking about words part of our everyday life. Then there's the all-important vocabulary children use in their oral language. To add to their knowledge of words, we want to begin well before they can read the words in print. In order to do this, we need lots of conversation. Talk with your child about anything and everything. Children ask lots and lots of questions. Answer those questions with as much detail as possible. If there's a word in your explanation that your child doesn't understand, that's the perfect opportunity to teach it to them. That's now a new word that can be added to their all-important word bank in their brains. You can encourage even more conversation by asking your child questions of your own. Here are some examples of questions you might be able to ask as you go about your day. How would you describe that tree over there? How is that building different from the one that we live in? Can you describe what that car looks like? What do you see in that picture over there? On a final note, at the end of this presentation, we provide more resources for you to use online in order to find words. We hope that you find them helpful.
Here are some activities that we are going to introduce. First, synonym spider, then vocabulary cube game, then vocabulary headbands, and then vocabulary journal. These activities you can play with your children and fun with words.
Hi again, it's Melissa here to talk about Synonym Spider, a fun activity that helps children understand that we have choices when it comes to words. There are often many ways to say the same thing. We call these words synonyms. Having this knowledge helps children express themselves better in both oral and written language. And remember, anytime we learn new words, we add to that important word bank in our brain. I hope you have fun with this activity.
Hi, thanks for joining me. We're going to be doing an activity today that you can do with your child called Synonym Spider. Synonyms are words that mean the same or almost the same as each other. So doing this activity can help your child build their vocabulary, which will help them when they see words like this in print. Just keep in mind when you're doing this activity or any vocabulary activity with your child that, as Dr. Timothy Shanahan says, word learning is social. So one of the most important things about the vocabulary activity that you're about to see, or any activity, is that you talk about it with your child as you're going through it. You talk about the words, you talk about how you would use them or why you would use them, or when they've seen or heard them being used, because that will help them to remember it. Okay, so when you are ready to do this activity with your child, the first thing you need to do is get your materials ready. If you have access to a printer and you can print out the template, you can find this in the materials resources. So you can print that out and then take a scissor and cut out the legs and cut out the spider template itself. If you don't have access to a printer, or you've run out of ink or paper or anything like that, very easy to just draw this template on a piece of paper. If you don't have a piece of paper, you could use the back of a cereal box that's been used already, or come up with some other creative ideas. So once you have that done, you want to lay out the words on the table so that the left side legs are over here, the right side legs are over here. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that your child can read all those words and knows all those words. So depending on their reading level, they may need a little bit of help, they may need a lot of help to read each word. So you want to make sure they can read the word and have an understanding of what each one means. So after you read the word together, you can ask them, can you give me a sentence that shows me what that means? So, for example, after you read the word happy together, they might say, I am happy when it's my birthday and everybody sings happy birthday to me. So that shows that they understand the concept of the word happy. So once you have gone over all the words and they have a pretty decent understanding of them, what you would do is you would take one of the words on the left and ask them which word on the right means the same or almost the same. Okay, so they would go through and they would think, happy, does enjoy mean the same as happy? Does small? Does large? Does glad? Okay, and you want to make sure that when they choose a match, ask them to give you a sentence and see if it makes sense with either word in the sentence. So, for example, I am happy when my baby sister gives me a hug. Can we use the word glad instead of happy, and it will still make sense? I am glad when my baby sister gives me a hug. Yes, both of those things would mean the same thing, because you like when your baby sister gives you a hug and it makes you feel good, and happy and glad mean kind of the same thing. So once you have that, you can have the child either glue or tape, whatever materials you have available to you at home, glue or tape that. So that's our first set of synonym spider legs, happy and glad. Then you would repeat the process until you have all 8 legs attached to the spider. And then once you have that all done, you can add a little bit of fun to it by having your child color in the spider. Just make sure you don't cover the words so you can still read them, and you can hang it up as a decoration. So once you're finished, your spider will look like this. And of course, if your child has chosen to decorate it, it will look that much nicer. And then if you and your child like doing this activity together, you can use a blank template, or you can draw yourself another template and use different words. You can maybe look for synonyms in a book that you're reading, or you can even try doing an antonym spider with words that mean the opposite, such as hot and cold. And if you're looking for even more of a challenge for your child, you might want to take one of those very basic words that sometimes gets overused, words such as big, nice, fun, good, bad, little, and do an extension activity where they take just one of those words and put it in the center of our flower template. Again, can be printed or easily drawn. And you put the very basic word in the center, and then you become a word detective and you look for other ways to say that same word but in a little bit of a fancier or more complex way, so that we're increasing their vocabulary. You can look around in texts for ideas. You can talk to other people for ideas. Remember, we said that vocabulary learning is a very social thing. Or as a last resort, you can always use a thesaurus, where you look up on the internet words that mean the same as. So you can see my example here for big. I have other words that mean the same as big or close to the same as big, such as giant, large, huge, enormous, gigantic. And we made a pretty little flower, and you can, if you do a bunch of those, you can even make yourself a little flower garden of words, which would be a nice way to remind your children that words are important and powerful, and we want to try to know as many as we can. So I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you and your child find this activity fun, enjoyable, interesting, and entertaining.
I'm here to share with you a game that I used to play with my daughter when she was young. And now I instruct teachers on how to play this game with students at school when we want them to make their sentences sound stronger and more powerful. Though this is very important in their writing, I find it to be as equally as important in their speaking as well. This game focuses on expanding a child's vocabulary. It can be played between a caregiver and a child, or with a group of children together. After some time and some practice, a child may even be able to play this game independently. The activity is called the Vocabulary Cube game. The best part of this game is that as your child grows, the words they find and use will grow too. As you see, here's a quick list of the materials and directions for playing the game. In the following video clips, I will explain how to make this game and how it is played. Before I begin the first video, though, I don't want you to worry about where to come up with the words to use for this game. I do mention a couple of ideas in the video, but also in the resource section of this presentation, I share with you a starting point for finding some words. Hi families, today I'm going to tell you about a vocabulary game that you can make and play with your child at home. First, the materials that you would need for this game are kind of simple. You would need some scrap paper, you would need a pencil, you would need some vocabulary or word cards, and you can get this off of the internet where I got some cards here that are different feelings and emotions, or if you don't have something like that, you can look for those things on the internet and then just make your own cards. And that could be just a fun part of this work too, is just creating the word cards for a game that you'll play at a later time. And you would use a die that's like a regular die that's 1 through 6, or another twist of this game to make it a little more fun and interactive would be to use something like a beach ball or another soft object that you can throw. Now, because I'm home, I also didn't have a beach ball, but what I did have was this like little squishy cube. So I decided to turn this into my die. So instead of just rolling the die, I will roll the cube, and I've already placed the directions on the cube. Okay? And if you're using the die, that's fine too. And here are what each number would stand for. So 1 would be to define it. 2 would be a synonym or a word that's the same. 3 would be using the word in a sentence. 4 would be antonyms or a word that's the opposite of the word that's on the card. 5 would be drawing the word. And 6 would be acting out the word. Okay, so in our next video, I'm going to show you how to play this game. Hi families, this is ULIT coach Laura Hunt here, and I'm going to explain to you now exactly how you play this vocabulary cube game. As you'll see, it's very easy to do. So what you're going to do is take the vocabulary cards that you either made or the cards that you had printed from the computer, and you're going to pick up a card. As the parent, you pick up the card and say, okay, the word is tired. So your child is then going to have to do one of two things. They're going to have to roll the die to a number and see what the card tells them to do. Or if you have used the squish ball or the beach ball, you can throw it to them they catch that ball, and then they have to read what it says to do, and this says synonym. So I know that a synonym is a word that's the same as another word. So I'm going to look at my word tired, and the word that's the same as tired could be sleepy, or it could be exhausted. And if the words match, tired means sleepy or tired means exhausted, that's good. They get a point. Okay, that round is over. So then your child throws the squoosh ball cube back to you, and you do it again. You pick up the next card. The word is happy. You're going to have to do something with this word happy. You throw the cube back to your child, and your child is going to have to do what it says. Happy. Act it out. So now your child has to act happy. They can use their arms, they can use their body, or they can use facial expressions. Happy. And if that matches, great. They go on to the next one. Now we do one more together. We'll try one last one together, okay? That's our word. Parent picks up the card. Your word is scared. Put the card so they can see it. You toss them the cube, and they have to do what it says. Use the word in the sentence. Late at night, when it's dark in my room, I sometimes get scared. There's a monster under my bed. And if that sentence makes sense and matches the word on the card, they got it right. Woo! That's fun, isn't it? What's great about this game is that parents can work with the school teacher to come up with words. Parents can look at books with their child to see words that are in the book that they'd like to use. There's so many things that the students and parents can do to come up with the words together. Have a great day playing, guys.
It's time for activity number 3, vocabulary headbands. What will I need for this activity? You will need vocabulary word cards. You can create these cards using the word lists from the resource we've provided you. For example, you can create categories like noun words, adjective words. You can also use science, social studies, math vocabulary word cards. You will also need an elastic headband. You can buy these headbands at a dollar or a beauty store. How do my child and I complete this activity? This activity is perfect for 2 players. You will place the cards under the headband on your forehead. Now you may look a little crazy, but that's okay. This game helps kids keep engaged in learning while having fun with you. A tip, it is more efficient if you place all the cards at once on your forehead under the headband. And your child will do anything they can to help you guess or figure out the word. He or she can describe it, give examples, give you a synonym, which is a word that means the same, or an antonym, a word with an opposite meaning. Or he or she can give you a scenario when you use the vocabulary word you're trying to guess. But they cannot tell you the spelling of the word or even the first letter of the word. Watch as we model for you. Hi again. Watch as Laura and I play headbands. You will see how we play this game, and hopefully it'll help you when you play it with your child. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the cards, and I'm making sure that I'm not looking at them. Of course, we're looking at a camera, so in here it's a little different, but your child wouldn't be able to see it. And I'm going to place all the words under my headband, and just And now it's your turn to tell me about the word that I'm going to try to guess.
Okay, so this word is a feeling word.
Feelings. Okay, I like feelings.
So when you're feeling upset, you are
Not happy.
correct.
Mad.
You're not happy. You're mad. So think about that, like when you're down in the dumps, when you're not satisfied about something.
When I'm not satisfied about something, I'm disappointed.
Good job. Awesome. You got it.
Great.
Point for you. All right. Ready? I'm going to, since my cards are a little thinner paper, I'm using the same vocabulary cube card game cards that I used. So I'm just going to put one in at a time. I picked up the card. I'm going to stick it in my headband. And can you read it, Yvonne?
Yes, so your word, okay, you're feeling this way sometimes when you have nothing to do.
When I have nothing,
bothered.
when I have nothing to do, I get tired.
Yes, tired is another word for this. So you're playing, everyone is having fun playing a game, but you don't seem to like it, you don't enjoy it.
I'm disinterested?
Yeah, okay. So if you're disinterested, you're also you're all these days we're being trapped in here, and you were just like tired of the same.
Oh my God, I'm bored.
Yes, you're bored. You got it.
And I'm ready.
Okay, so this is a feeling word. You're usually by yourself when you feel this way. You have no one to play with.
An only child.
Yes, so if you're an only child, you might feel this way.
I'm alone.
Okay, you got it. You're
by
getting
myself.
There. Friendless. When you're alone, you are friendless.
Unwanted.
You are not sociable. You don't have any friends.
I'm lonesome.
You're by yourself. Lonesome. That's another word that means the same thing as the word on your forehead.
By myself. I'm friendless. Is it lonely?
Yes, you got it.
All right.
So we're even, 2 points each. So for family, this is how you play headbands.
I'm going to introduce the activity of making vocabulary journal. Vocabulary journal is not only a great way for your children to learn the meaning of the word, but also it helps them to retain what they learned. For example, your child might not know the meaning of a pond, and you could explain your child what is a pond and even show the picture of a pond. But the next day, if you ask your child what is a pond, your child might not remember. Because to add a new word in children's word bank, child needs to say the word several times and use it in a meaningful way to be able to remember. According to the research, Mueller and Oppenheimer, children comprehend and retain more information when taking notes. That's why making vocabulary journal would be helpful for children to retain words. So first, the materials for this activity, you need notebook, pen and pencils, iPad or laptop or computer. So first, to look up a word on the website, you can look it up the website as here it is. And after you look up the word, either your child can write the word or definition and draw the concept and write a sentence using the word. Or even you can write the word and definition, but make sure that they write the sentence using the word. And then they can continue to add more words in the vocabulary journal.
If you go to the kidswordsmith.net on the website, you can find the word by putting the word, for example, pond, and then press go, and you'll see the word and the meaning, and sometimes there's a photo or the pictures. After you find the word, please monitor the child when they write the word correctly. Then they can write the definition and draw the meaning of the word. Also, they need to write a sentence using the word.
Peter is a safe image search for kids. There is Google search that we frequently use, but sometimes some images might appear that it's inappropriate for children. That's why this website is safe for children. So you can put the word in here, and then you press return, and you will see more of either the photographs or pictures about that image. So please continue to add more words in the vocabulary. And for finding new vocabulary to add, you can always start from your house, like some of the objects in your kitchen or even in bedroom, and any tools that you usually use, or any words that they might not know when they are reading books.
Here is the example of vocabulary journal. The word, meaning, picture, and the sentence. So it's very important that they make sure that the spelling is correct for the word, and the picture can be simpler or detailed as they wish, and make sure that they use the word in a sentence. It is important to keep adding new words, but it's also important to review and practice the words that they wrote previously. I hope that you enjoy making vocabulary journal with your child.
This attached list of references contains all the resources we use to create this presentation. We hope you have gathered a few ideas of activities that you could play at home with your child. If you need further assistance, please feel free to contact us. We are here to support you.
As promised, we have a resource list for you. The first link is a vocabulary word list. These lists are created according to each letter of the alphabet. It is available for nouns, which tell a person, place, or thing, and it's also available with a list of adjectives, which are words that describe a noun. These lists contain the word, a definition of that word, as well as several synonyms for each word. The words contained in these lists range from simple to challenging, so it is great for children of any age. You can support your child in choosing the words that are right for his or her age, grade, and ability. Also, we include links to websites with additional vocabulary activities that you can make alongside your child to support vocabulary development at home. We have included some great books that students can read to enhance vocabulary development. You may even be able to find some of these books available as read-alouds on the internet.
So the read aloud and read together books that support vocabulary instruction are Stegosaurus by Bridget Heos, Chicken Cheeks by Michael Black, Thesaurus Rex by Leah Steinberg, The Word Collector by Peter H. Reynolds, Miscellaneous, A Vocabulary Disaster by Deborah Fraser, If You Were a Synonym by Michael Dahl. And that book is actually one in a series of books called Word Fun Books. The next one is The Boy Who Loved Words by Ronnie Schotter, Max's Words by Kate Banks, Fancy Nancy's Favorite Words From Accessories to Zany by Jane O'Connor, and last but not least, Ebenezer Has a Word for Everything by Chelsea Rowe. I hope you find this list supportive in choosing some great activities that supplement the ones we've included here. We would like to say thank you to all of you fabulous families and commendable caregivers for spending time with us here today, for watching this presentation, and for participating in today's activities. We would be most appreciative if you could take a moment to complete this family feedback survey. You can use the QR code here for easy access, and the link will also be included in your supporting documents. Once again, thank you for being here. For more information, to ask questions, or to seek assistance, feel free to reach out to any of us reading coaches listed here. You can find our email addresses and the schools that we support listed also. Thank you again for taking time out of your day to visit with us this evening.